What's up, Dan Dans? We're live here for WWE Raw Talks Live. Little update right in the beginning. The artist formerly known as Mike Charles missed last week's episode because he had some shit going on. Last night we did a WrestleMania Talks episode. It was a big special. You should go watch that right after you watch this one. And the artist addressed the crowd, and he said he was never going to miss another show again and this and that. The artist is not here today because he has some more personal shit going on. So I picked out a replacement host, Steve Schneider, a.k.a. Folkland, who was my replacement host last week as well. Steve has some shit going on as well, so this show is going to be entirely me tonight. So let's hope we get a good chat going here, good community chat, so while I'm covering the show, everyone else can chime in with me. Give me 1 second here to post the link around to get everything filled out, and we will be ready to go with the Raw Talks. Let's see, it probably hit Twitter already, so I'm going to go post it on Facebook. See, this is where the artist formerly known as Mike Charles really shines, is I need him to vamp or hype the show for a little while I post it. We are live. That's what I just posted on Facebook, but it's not we, it's technically just me, because there is no we this week. But there is a we, because you are here with me. Let me pull up the chat here so we're ready to go. Sam Fricky, right off the bat, says Cena buried Ambrose. Captain McKay Random says the artist no-showed. Hell, man. I just got a request from Sam Fricky that says he wants to co-host the show. And I don't think that'd be a bad idea. I can open up Skype really quick here and see if we can turn this into a thing, if he wants to do it. See, I've done shows with Sam Fricky before. I had him in the 616 Entertainment Podcast 2 times now. He's a great guy to talk to about wrestling. He's a great guy to talk to about movies. He's a great guy to talk to about anything. So if Sam Fricky wants to co-host here, I'm not going to be against that. This will be the first time anyone has ever invaded a show live on the air. Captain McKay says it's Espanol on Twitter, by the way. What the fuck? Why is it Spanish again? I change the fucking video language every time to English because the first time we went live, this happened before. I don't know what to do with these damn apps. Is that what the hell you would call YouTube? Is it an app? JBP223, who to drop kayfabe is Giuseppe. He's finally here and he's in the building. Says, "Where's the artist?" The artist isn't here. He's got some shit going on. If he wants to tell you, that was me signing into Skype. If he wants to tell you what that shit is when he comes back next week, because he will be here, he'll tell you what it is. But I'm not going to go spilling his shit live. Let me try and sign into this Skype gimmick right here. See if we can get on the line with Sam Fricky. Sam, I hope you watched the whole show, and I hope you took notes so we can cover each segment as we do it, you know. So I suck with Skype. So let me try and do a little call here with Sam Fricky. Does Skype have call waiting? That would be funny.
What's up?
Sam Fricky's on the line there. You there? Yo! Fix your bullshit. Sam Fricky is not on the line. I'm going to cancel out of that real quick. Sam, goddammit, you fucked up. You fucked up. For everybody who's in here now, post the link around. Put it on your message boards. Put it on your Twitter. Do everything and whatnot. I, right now, am going to play the official intro for the show. Because we can't start WWE Raw Talks Live unless the official intro is played. So, here we go.
Hey, Mike, make sure everyone has brown gloves. Does everyone have brown gloves? Oh, dude.
That's my favorite part of the show. Every week is doing that. Getting a call here. Sam Fricky, are we live?
Can you hear me now?
I can indeed hear you now. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, boom. Let's talk about fucking Raw.
Let's talk about it. I had to mute the YouTube channel because it was throwing me off a little bit.
Yeah, you can't have both going at the same time because they play against each other.
So I'm putting the Skype window in front of the screen and just looking at the chat.
Yeah.
So I can't see you.
That's all right. I can't see you either.
All right, good.
Here we go, though.
I took mental notes. I didn't write anything down because I wasn't prepared to do this, but I've got I watched the whole show.
Yeah.
Which is good. So do you want to kick it off?
Yeah, let's talk about the first segment. We had Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman come out. Lesnar shows up, and he looks like he's fucking ready for business. He came out in full ring gear.
Dude, he was ready to go, and what I liked was they started chanting Suplex City pretty early, and he starts fucking smiling.
He does. He loved it. He loved every second of it.
He's full babyface now. I don't care whether you have Heyman or what. He's the babyface that the WWE needs right now. Outside of like Ambrose, like he's that guy.
He's the babyface they need right now, and whether they like it or not, he's the top one. Like, there's nothing you can do about it. The fucking crowd, and it's the Raw after Mania, so the crowd was 98% smarks who just want to chat whatever they want to chant. But Heyman's over anywhere you go, so it's not just because of this crowd tonight.
No, I agree, because you get a bunch of greasy European smarks over there. They're going to chant for Heyman and Lesnar. But it's like you said, Heyman is going to get a reaction wherever he goes.
Yeah.
I mean, Lesnar at this point, he might be one of the biggest sports or biggest athletes in the world right now. Like, I would put him up there with guys like Brady, guys like not Jeter, but like like A-list athletes.
Yeah, a guy that is easily recognizable, and not just easily recognizable, but one of the top draws in all of sports/sports entertainment.
No, I agree. He brings a massive fan base because what he's going to do now is he's going to attract guys like The Rock back. I guarantee you Rock's going to be facing him either in August or next April in Dallas. So he's going to be a draw, not just from like a viewer perspective, but from bringing talent back into the WWE for whatever type of match it's going to be. He's going to help them out there too.
I don't know if he's going to be facing The Rock at SummerSlam. That's putting all your eggs in one basket real quick, very early.
I've never been opposed to doing that before.
I know. They just wrote him off like so he can go take a vacation. You're already booking him for SummerSlam.
Hey, he came back last night with Well, they'll build up to that tag team match, but let's get back to Raw.
Yeah, so I like that Paul Heyman. Every time Paul Heyman goes out there, you can tell he's got no safety net. He goes out there, he says whatever the fuck he wants to say, and he might be the only guy who has ever gone out there and mentioned the PG era by name, which he did tonight.
He did it a while back, and it's little stuff like that when you have Heyman do it. And I think Cena like 3 years back made fun of people asking him to turn heel or increase his work rate. It's little things like that I like. But can we talk about pushing the PG boundary a little bit? Because it seemed over the past couple weeks, even the past like month or so, they've been kind of bending a little bit, cursing a little more. You get the blood last night. I think they've been a little lenient with it, which isn't bad. I mean, I understand and kind of like it now in the PG era because it makes when they break out of it like seem or have more of an impact. But I'm liking how they're pushing it a little bit. They're
definitely pushing the limit on it, but I would like it if they didn't have to push the limit on it. Like obviously they can get away with blood if they want to. That's something that they've instituted themselves. And they might have a thing where they've told sponsors like, oh, it won't be as bloody as before. To get it with TV PG, we can't be using the blood. But they've done it before. No, none of the sponsors have hightailed it. No one has said like, oh, fuck these guys. They went against their thing. I'm not one of the guys who hates the PG era, but I'm not one of those guys who doesn't miss blood. Like when Brock Lesnar got busted open last night, I was like, this is so good. Like I really feel like Brock is like fucked up right now because we can see how damaged he is, No,
I agree. I'm always a fan of blood in big matches like that. I mean, I'm back in the day when you'd have Flair like punching himself in the face with a bandage and just busting himself open up at like 9:15. I mean, it was hilarious, but it got old pretty quickly. But stuff like last night was pretty great. And then his freak out tonight was glorious.
Which we'll get to. You don't want to go too quick.
I don't.
No, we got to go to Bryan versus Ziggler.
Didn't he freaked out before Bryan versus Ziggler?
No, he didn't. No, he freaked out. That happened later.
Right. Yeah, you're right.
So the problem I'm having right now is I've got two notebooks in front of me because I write so big and so out of control that like I've gone through an entire fucking notebook already doing this show. So I had to switch to a new one. But so yeah, we went from Heyman Lesnar and our opening match was Bryan versus Ziggler.
I don't like they get next week or something like the week after that they gotta just open up with a match. Like, I've been harping on this for 5 months now, but like they need to open with one. And this was a hell of a match.
Yeah.
What did it go like 15 minutes? 12, 15 minutes probably?
Bryan Ziggler, yeah, at least, because they went through the commercial, they came back, and they pushed the boundary probably till the next commercial break.
They can go. I mean, they were mixing it up. They were doing a little bit of chain. They were hitting spots. They were going all over the place. I want this to be the feud over the summer, but unfortunately, with the big orange bastard coming back, I think he's going to kind of feud with Bryan. But
unfortunately,
I like Ziggler versus Bryan. They're two of the best workers in the company right now.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think anyone's going to debate that. Frankly, I'm not surprised at how good the match was. Given the time that they gave him and given the two talents that they had in there. But I'm not a huge fan of Sheamus and Barrett.
No, and you talked about the beginning of the match with the amateur style. There's one thing I really love when two guys are chaining and you got the headlock takeover into a wrist lock and all this bullshit. You can always tell when someone has like an actual background in grappling and when a guy who has a pro wrestling background in grappling. Like, these guys out there were using a lot of real fucking moves and real techniques. That's because Dolph Ziggler was a fucking wrestler at the college he went to, and Daniel Bryan trains jiu-jitsu. You can really tell when they're out there that they're smooth, like a fucking well-oiled machine, just flowing move through move. And I love that. You can always tell when guys really know what they're doing.
And then you get that, and then I think there's a spot early on in the match that I liked where Bryan, they were grappling, and then like Ziggler rolled away, and then Bryan got up all fired up. He was like, "If you want to fight, then get over here."
Oh yeah,
like they were yapping too, which is great.
They were. I love that. And then there was the whole thing where it's a good guy versus a good guy. You got babyface versus babyface, and they don't have to be just like, well, we're gonna go out there, we're gonna have a great match. Like, they're grappling back and forth, trying to prove like one guy to the other, like I'm a better wrestler than you. But then one of them got a little fucking shitty, and he throws the slap. And then, like you said, they do the, like, if you want to fight, fuck it. Like, let's go. Like, let's throw it all out there, and they did. These guys wrestled on SmackDown and Raw last week, but this was the first time I felt like they went out there with the intent of, let's fucking blow the roof off this place, and I think they did.
And the thing I liked was I was a little worried about the crowd reaction. I'm not necessarily tonight because you knew the crowd you were going to get, but I was pleasantly surprised that they weren't dead for Ziggler, which I thought they were going to be, because Bryan's over as hell. And my concern, a little over-exaggerated, was that they were going to not know who to root for and then just end up going with Bryan. But they were cheering the spots, they were cheering the high points, which is, I think, how you want to do a match like that.
Yeah.
But I think the face versus face angle works with a character like Ziggler, who can be a bit of a dick. So he can kind of work that. He's not a straight baby face. He's a little bit of he's got some arrogance to him, which works in a situation like this, but it's still a great match.
One of the things I loved about Ziggler early in his career was he came on and he kind of had this attitude where he was just, he was the show off and he's the show stealer and all these things, but he was a dick and he was a bad guy and he would go out there. But what I liked about it is he would still fucking win. And they've kind of gotten away from that to where he's a guy who says how good he is, but he loses a lot of the time now. And I love the fact that he was a bad guy who said how good he was, and all the good guys would be like, I'm going to take the bad guy down. And they just weren't good enough to do it. Like, they've gotten away from that. And I think they could probably do Ziggler a couple favors maybe by turning him heel. Because he's been face for so long now, I feel like, he needs a fucking kickstart.
I agree. And I think they would need to push him in a way where he's winning cleanly.
Yeah.
He can dig around a little bit, but they need, especially with Russo coming off his first loss and Rollins being the chicken shit heel he's going to be, which is going to be great, they're going to need a heel who's going to win consistently. They have Sheamus for that, but I think they need to start pushing heels towards winning more cleanly just to kind of even up the competition, because the fans are cheering for whoever they want to cheer for.
Yeah,
they're cheering based off who they like. You would effectively, as a character, bury Ziggler, and I know you hate that word, if you turn him heel and had him lose consistently to those upper mid-card guys. But, there's a couple different ways they can go with him. I'm confident enough in his ability and his character that he'll be fine. But I would just be a little worried about how they would book him.
Well, they couldn't possibly book him any worse than they've been booking him lately. Like, they gave him the Intercontinental title, but for no time at all, he lost it. He never got a fucking rematch, and now he's still losing on a consistent basis. Like, WrestleMania last night was a step in the right direction. You had the two guys that people wanted to win on top of the ladder going back and forth, and one of the guys they wanted to win won the match. Tonight, the two guys they wanted to win faced each other, and they fucking tore the place down, which I thought was great. So we're getting ahead of ourselves talking about turning him heel or whatnot. Let's talk about how this was one of the best Raw matches I've ever seen, I would say.
In a very long time, yeah. I mean, you could go back to like 2002. I'm thinking like RVD Eddie in the ladder match, like back in the day. This is one of their better matches of this quote unquote era.
Yeah,
I agree with that.
So the match wraps up. We got Bryan. He pins him after he hits the running knee. And then out comes Sheamus to make the save because Barrett attacks Bryan and Ziggler.
Yeah.
So Sheamus comes out with a goddamn mohawk and this weird Celtic braided stupid beard, and he brogue kicks Bryan, effectively turning heel, which he needed to do because nobody gave a shit about him. I still don't give a shit about him. I don't like Sheamus. I think he's boring.
I'm not a Sheamus fan. I've never been a Sheamus fan.
I don't think I've ever heard a "You look stupid" chant before.
And he's just sitting there soaking it up. Like, that's how he's going to get over. Like the one night of the year where people are actually going to react to him.
Yeah.
The one thing he gets is "You look stupid."
I'm a bad guy now. I need people to like chant and hate me. And they chant "You look stupid." Like, that's not even a chant of "We hate you." That's just a chant of like, what the fuck did you do?
I agree.
Like,
but the thing is, like, and then I don't get it too. He runs in, he kicks the shit out of Barrett, then he kicks the shit out of Ziggler and Bryan. Then all of a sudden they book the 4 in a tag match on SmackDown. So yeah, Sheamus coming back, and there's already a feud between him and Bad News because of that whole the British thing. And then I don't know.
It was just the easy way to go. You've got 2 bad guys, you got 2 good guys. What do we do with them? Put them together.
We got ourselves a tag team match.
Was that your Teddy Long? Because that was the fucking worst I've ever heard.
Shut the fuck
up. Captain McKay Random says RVD Eddie ladder match, the one where Eddie punches the fan in the face. Awesome.
That's the match. They had a nice little feud going on in 2002 between like Backlash and King of the Ring, which is pretty solid. They
did. Yeah, RVD and Eddie had a lot of great matches. One of the things I remember most about that match is, first of all, my buddy Tim, Bathroom Money, Tim Ewers, he taped Raw back then. Because for the young day nads who are watching, back before there was on demand or DVR, you had to tape things on a fucking VCR tape, a VHS tape. We watched that match over and over again. I've probably seen that match 100 fucking times. I love that match. But does anyone else remember RVD goes to the top of the ladder to do the 5-star and he just fucking falls?
Yeah, he's in the back corner. He climbs it and then just fucking his leg gives out and he lands on his side. What I think actually happened was he got to the top of the ladder, and you're not supposed to stand on the top of the ladder because it's fucking wobbly. Factor that with a bouncy ring, it's not going to work. Like, guys like Benoit would get up to the top of the ladder and just immediately fall because they knew, like, I cannot waste my time up here. Well, the thing is, like, a year later, he has a ladder match with Christian, and he's up at the top and hits a frog splash off of it at the very top. But
he figured it out.
He figured it out. He was high. He was definitely stoned when he was on top.
Another thing that they never used to do that they started doing recently, not recently, but within the past like 5 years, is 5-10 years, is the referees now during a ladder match, whenever there's something going on, the referees stand there and they hold the ladder. Like back in the day, back in like 2001, 2002, when you went up to the top of the ladder, you just better fucking be careful or you're going to fall.
You're on your own.
Nowadays, there's 5 referees all holding it going, don't do it, while they're just like holding it still so he can fucking do it.
It's like the most useless rule in wrestling is the 5 seconds on the top rope rule.
It is.
Random thought.
I definitely agree. It's one of the most useless rules.
Yeah, one of them. It's one of those rules that you don't even know exist until you see a referee counting when a guy's just squatted up there. You're like, what the fuck's going on?
One of the other dumbest things I've ever fucking seen is Sheamus. I don't understand why he does this. He comes out and he punches himself. He punches the shit out of himself in the chest and he yells, "Fella." What the fuck does that mean? I don't get that. That's like, fella is like the equivalent of just like an American guy just like punching himself in the face and going, dude.
It's, so is his new gimmick now like a Celtic barbarian? Like just straight up, is that his thing?
That's what the look is, but I think the gimmick is just like he came in as what is he, Irish or Scottish? Irish?
He's Scottish.
Scottish. He came in as Scottish bad guy. And then he became Scottish good guy, and now he's Scottish bad guy.
He's got like a tablespoon of charisma. Like, just enough where he can talk, but not enough where he sounds good, which is the worst fucking possible combination.
Yeah, I'm not a fan.
I don't know. Sheamus sucks.
I agree. You know what I am a fan of?
What?
The fucking Lucha Dragons debuting on Raw.
See, I mean, they're good on NXT. I've caught a couple of their matches. Kalisto has this. I like that kind of like Hurricane Rana DDT that he has, where he spikes the guy's head. But they look good, man. If they get into a little feud with Cesaro and Kid, that should be fun.
Oh, those guys they'll tear the house down every night, and I've used that phrase like 5 fucking times now. But one of the like constants that we had on Raw tonight until the main event was just great match after great match.
I mean, you get an 8-man tag. We both hate the. Oh, I don't know if you hate the Ascension. I hate the Ascension. But you get 3 good teams in there. Biggie, the New Day, their gimmick sucks, but like the wrestlers in the stable are good. They can go.
I actually tweeted like that very same thing earlier. Like the people were chanting like New Day sucks, and I tweeted like the only thing that sucks about the New Day is the gimmick. Like all 3 of these guys are extremely talented. Just give them something to work with.
They're not. Biggie's got probably the most charisma out of them. Kofi can't talk. They're in a tough situation because I know they don't want him floating around. And I don't think Kofi could hang. Well, he could, but I don't think he could hang in their new mid-card division. I think they're trying to build up with the titles. Yeah. So he's kind of in that purgatory area. But
who are you talking about?
I do want to see Kid and Cesaro versus the Lucha Dragons.
We will.
If only to see Cesaro uppercut Kalisto.
Yeah.
At some point and just knock him across the ring.
That's going to happen.
It is going to happen.
Captain McKay says great. Sheamus, more like Lamus. Insert your own oh shit if you want.
Does anyone like Sheamus other than the artist?
I don't. Why does the artist like Sheamus?
Because they're both gingers.
Oh, well, I got red hair now too. What does that mean?
Well, you don't have. That's fake red hair.
Nah, dog. It's as real as the day is long. You know what I'm saying?
It's like Eve Marie's red hair.
What?
It's like Eve Marie's hair.
Yeah, but I think she looks a little better than I do.
Yeah.
I mean, let's be honest.
Just a little bit.
I love that the Lucha Dragons debuted on Raw, and I love, like, there was all these rumors going around that Kalisto was going to get fucked with and that they were going to give him this, like, gay hairdresser gimmick. Obviously, that didn't happen. They brought him up as the tag team that was already over as fuck and established in NXT, and I love that.
Well, it's good because they bring a team. I hope they stick together, and they probably will because they look the same, which is good.
Yeah.
They'll keep them together for a while. They'll add a breath of fresh air and hopefully kick the fucking Usos out.
Oh, dude, the fucking Usos, man.
Nobody likes the Usos. Nobody likes the Usos.
I have to agree.
Like the Sheamus of the tag division.
They're the Sheamus of the. That needs to be their new T-shirt. The Usos have a fucking T-shirt that just says the Usos of the Sheamus of the tag division.
But it's like the Ascension. I think they're a failed project at this point. I don't think they're going to get over.
I think there's still time to save them. Like they're only a failed project because they brought them up. They were treating them like shit, which I'm so confused as to why they were doing that. But they can fix it like this. Like I was talking to somebody yesterday about how I don't think there are setbacks in pro wrestling. I think there's chapters. Like chapter 1, they got fucking run into the ground because they were handled wrong. Chapter 2 can be how we fix them. You know, as long as if they put any effort into the Ascension, they'd be back up like this. You know.
I mean, I'm liking the direction the tag division is going in now. A little bit. It's baby steps. Yeah. It's nothing too big, but they're pushing it. They're nudging it in the right direction, which is good. Cesaro and Kid had matching attire this week, which is another little thing.
Yeah, it was slightly better.
And was Natty at ringside?
I don't know if she was because she had a match later on, but I don't know if she was out there during that match.
I mean, she's looking hot. I like her as the manager for them. Yeah. They're making baby steps, which is more than you can say. More than I thought they were going to do, but I think there's a future in the tag division, a good one. They just got to keep on, just let them wrestle. That's how you're going to get it over. Just let them wrestle. Don't start pairing random people together. Yeah. Just bring these teams up, develop them, let them go.
That's some of the best advice I've ever heard for the writing staff is let them wrestle. Like, people come here because they want to see fucking wrestling. They don't come here because they want to see all the other ancillary bullshit around it. But the last two things, a couple other things I wrote down here were I love the NXT chants. And again, if it wasn't the Raw after fucking WrestleMania, there would have been no NXT chants because it's all smarks in the crowd. I love the support for NXT, though. I wrote down the fans hate New Day, which we already kind of touched on. It bothers me that they hate the New Day because I like all three of those guys, but...
Well, I don't think they don't hate the individuals. They hate the fucking gimmick, and I can't blame them. If I was in the crowd, I'd be chanting New Day sucks too. Yeah. I guarantee you ask any one of those guys in the crowd, like, do you dislike Kingston? Do you not like Big E? Do you not like Xavier Woods? They go, no, I like him, but I fucking hate the New Day.
Unfortunately, the problem with that, though, is, like, backstage, they're just going to hear New Day sucks, and then they're going to be like, well, obviously we can't do anything with these guys, you know? We already tried to have Big E be a strong black guy and for Kofi to be a charismatic black guy, and that didn't work. And now they can't be a black tag team. What can we possibly do with these guys? You know?
I just picture Vince in the back like, yeah, just make them shuck and drive, baby. Just.
And that's the whole problem. Like, I've said it a million times. I'm not going to drive in the ground anymore. They don't have to be the black something. They just need to be someone or something. It doesn't always have to revolve around a black thing.
Just make him Kofi and Big E. That's what you got to do. You can come up with a name later. Just let him tag.
I felt like they were doing a good thing with Big E for a while where he had the Intercontinental title, and I actually liked him with the Intercontinental title. I remember him having a lot of good matches, but I guess they just weren't happy with that after a while.
He's not he's good in the ring for his size. Like, he moves quick. He's not a liability. You could do a lot worse with some of the bigger guys in the business right now.
I agree. Captain McKay says, I think the whole tag division needs work. Usos and Ascension are great to see because they're actual teams instead of two random guys thrown together, but they never look good.
See, I disagree with that because I hate the Ascension and the Usos always look good.
Yeah.
But I do agree that it's good in the idea that they're two actual tag teams.
Why do you hate the Ascension?
I'm not a fan of either of those teams. I hate the fucking Usos. I think the Ascension are a bunch of jokes.
Why do you think the Ascension are jokes because they were treated like jokes, or do you think they're jokes because they suck?
It's like their first match. I was ready to I was hyped for their debut.
Yeah.
Wasn't super impressed. Like they haven't had a match that's impressed me yet, and that's not their fault. But at this point, like, they are what they are to me, and that's unimpressive.
But don't you feel like that can be fixed pretty easily?
Yeah.
Like, why write them off now?
They're not a lost cause by any means. At this point, I just don't care about them. I'd rather watch the Lucha Dragons and the Ascension get a push.
Yeah. Right after this, we got a promo that said that Adrian Neville was coming to the main roster, which I was happy about.
Mighty Mouse.
I was wondering when they were going to have him show up. Turns out he showed up later tonight, but we'll get to that in a bit. Because right now, out of fucking nowhere, I didn't think it was going to happen this early. Brock Lesnar comes to the ring, and Michael Cole says it's time for the title match.
And I like seeing Lesnar on a Raw. He didn't really have to say anything. He just came out. What I was disappointed about, I would have rather seen Rollins come out and cut a promo because I love Rollins.
Yeah.
But it was weird the way they set it up. It was like Steph came out, and I thought they weren't going to do anything like this until the main event. But you don't get a match. You get Rollins chicken shitting his way out of it, which is great. And then shit, my throat's dry. But then you get shit. What happens? And Rollins says jet lag, but hurts, and then all of a sudden Lesnar goes fucking ape shit, like absolute ape shit, and it's one of the greatest things I've ever seen. Yeah,
for the Danans who didn't see it. We were promised a title rematch tonight where Brock Lesnar was going to face Seth Rollins because Paul Heyman said, "Oh, we're going to bring lawyers into this and we're going to hold up the WWE." And he was like, "But my client Brock Lesnar says that all lawyers are scumbags," and the crowd fucking loved it. So this is how they were supposed to settle it. Obviously, that's not how they settled it because Seth Rollins decided tonight was not the way to do it. Brock Lesnar F5'd Michael Cole. He murders JBL and Booker T behind the announce table.
He flips the announce table up to the point where it like avalanches over JBL and Booker T.
Yeah. JBL was ducking for cover while the thing was barely even turned over, which I thought was hilarious.
And then all of a sudden Michael Cole's like behind the ring post and Brock Lesnar's going off camera to grab him, which is great.
Yeah.
He's going out of his way to grab Michael Cole.
When Michael Cole came in front of the camera and Lesnar grabbed him by the neck. And the first thing I thought was, like, does he know that's Michael Cole? And that's not, like, just some random guy that he's supposed to F5. But then he's got Michael Cole, like, by the hair, and he's looking at him at the corner of the ring. And I totally see it coming that he's going to murder Michael Cole. And I'm just sitting there going, oh, this is great. Like, this is fucking awesome. Cole is going down in flames.
Well, Cole getting an F5, I think, was probably the biggest pop of the night.
Yeah.
If not, definitely top 5, if not the biggest.
JBP223, who is Giuseppe, I don't know if you know that or not, says, the F5 to Cole and his shoe coming off was perfect. And then Jazz James says, instant face turn.
Brock Lesnar is like, that was the biggest babyface move he could have made. Nobody likes Michael Cole. He's the Sheamus of announcing. You get Brock Lesnar, F5 and Cole. But the only bad part is, once everyone got wrecked, commentary was fucking terrible for the rest of the night.
Yeah,
it was
dog
actively
shit.
taking away from the show. It was that bad, in my opinion.
Giuseppe just texted me a photo, and I'm going to put it on the screen here. It says, in memory of Michael Cole, and it's just his shoe in the middle of the ring. Oh, that's fucking money, dude. That's big time money. This whole segment, in my opinion, was goddamn fantastic.
It was entertaining. Like, you can't beat that.
No.
If you get entertained by a segment that goes on for like 20 minutes, it involves a table getting flipped over, Michael Cole getting an F5, the cameraman getting an F5 twice, and Stephanie McMahon just screeching on the microphone.
Yeah.
I dug it.
There's been so many great things being yelled out from the crowd lately that I just love, where this, like tonight, as the stretcher was coming out to go save JBL and Michael Cole and everything, there was some guy in the crowd who was like, oh, thank God you got here. I don't know if you want to do sign of the night, but we can do that later. I had one in mind. Yeah. What are you pitching that for now? That's how we close.
Yeah, that's how we close. How you close?
Captain McKay Random says, I love how anyone who sucks is instantly the Sheamus of whatever they do.
It's true. But the thing is, like, the first hour and a half of the show is chugging along. Like, it's good TV. It's entertaining. You got, two really good matches. Mm-hmm. I'm digging the first half of Raw. Then it starts going downhill.
Yeah. Well, I didn't feel like it went downhill just yet. I totally saw something coming where, obviously, with Brock's contract and his schedule, he was going to get a vacation. So I was totally expecting something to happen tonight where they'd be able to write him off. Stephanie's suspending him, which is what ended up happening. Is how he's going to get his vacation. It's how we get him off TV. And I really like that he didn't lose at WrestleMania, so he's still the beast. Like, he never lost. And then tonight they didn't have him get, like, beat the shit out of by the whole authority, and then he loses, and he still goes out on a loss. They've kept Brock strong and got him off TV, so when he comes back, they can still pull the whole, like, I'm going to murder you because you fucked up my day.
Yeah, he looks almost as strong as he did when he was champion.
Yeah.
He'll be fine whenever he comes back.
I don't think Brock Lesnar's I don't think his stock has dropped at all. Not a single bit.
I can definitely agree with that.
Giuseppe says they never flip the fucking table back. They just stand behind it all night.
Fucking Lawler's gonna have a heart attack and Brian Saxon's useless.
There was one point where they actually, like, they turned the camera to show the announcers, and you could see them both getting up real quick because they were sitting down behind the toppled table, but they wanted it to be more dramatic with them standing like, oh, he fucked up the whole thing. So they both stood up really fast. I'm going to find it and send a picture of it to you, but there was a shot after the Carnage where the camera pulls around, and there's a shot, like, to the side of the table, and you see fucking Booker T crammed between the barriers. I saw that. It was so funny. This goofy-ass grin on his face. Like, his head's tilted off the side. It was fucking hilarious. He was supposed to be dead, but then another great thing yelled from the crowd. Some guy was like, man, you good, Book? Oh, my God. So here we went to Stardust versus Mizdow.
Tara, are they not bearing? Are they? What are they doing with Stardust?
They're not doing anything with him right now.
He's just kind of in that holding pattern. I was disappointed that they kept Mizdow with Miz's music and his moveset. Mm-hmm. I don't like that. I think they should just start pushing him as an individual, but yeah. I'm sure they're gonna have the payoff match between him and Miz at Extreme Rules or Payback or whatever. So that's when it'll happen.
and I wrote down, the first thing I wrote down is why continue with the Mizdow thing, but they're going to continue with it until they have Miz versus Mizdow. And then after that, he'll drop it, and he'll hopefully go back to being Damien Sandow. I can't imagine any other way out than that.
It's like we talked about this on you and I talked about this, I think, on our last podcast. I think Mizdow is kind of screwed right now. I don't know how over he's going to be when he switches. I don't know how long he's going to be able to maintain that.
Well, the thing with Sandow is, I don't know how long you've been like back to watching on a consistent basis, but Sandow was over as fuck before this Miz thing actually started. Like before
he was because he was the intellectual savior.
Yeah, when he was doing that, people fucking loved him, and he was that kind of heel that like the fans liked him because he was so goddamn funny and he was entertaining. And he had a great moveset where he would do like the hand thing and then this jumping elbow. He wore these like fucking pink trunks and purple knee pads with white boots. He was hilarious. He was great and people loved him. And then for whatever reason, he started doing the like new gimmick every week thing. And then he got matched up with Miz, and that's where we are from there. But he was over before the Miz thing, and I think he'll be over after it as well. I don't think he has anything.
I'm just worried about how long he can maintain being over. Yeah. I think he's going to be like a face of the month kind of deal. That's just me, but I like him. I don't dislike him by any means. I'm just a little skeptical on how what they're going to do with him.
Yeah. One of the things I wrote down here is I feel like up to this point, every match of the night has utilized the mid-card, like the younger talent, perfectly.
I agree. Outside of the main event, we'll get to that later. Like it was good wrestling.
Yeah.
It was good young wrestling too, which isn't a surprise.
Yeah.
What's next? We have Neville versus. Is this Neville's debut right after this?
Yeah, but before we get there, I want to say that just a little intricate moment that I liked from Stardust is there's this whole thing where people are chanting Cody at him because he doesn't want to be Cody anymore. And there was a part where he had Mizdow down in a headlock and he started screaming at him, "What's my name?" Which I thought, dude, that was so good. I love those little intricacies like that.
Well, Cody's a good character wrestler, which is nice. I guarantee it's tough as hell to get into a character like Stardust without losing yourself in the comedy aspect of it. So when he can go ahead and do when he can pay attention to details like that and be a detail-oriented boy and kind of help develop his character, and walk the gray line between comedy and actually insane, you get a good character like that. But I hope that they give him a couple more matches, give him some time, not like a 3-minute squash to get Mizdow over. But
yeah. To go to the chat here real quick, Jazz James says, #give Byron a chair. Giuseppe says Mizdow for champion, which that might be a little much. Party Hard 706 says Mizdow versus John, that be epic. Mizdow versus John Cena? I don't know about that. Carlton Fan 2010 says Sandow was never really over. A couple marks on the internet liked him, but it never showed on the shows. I don't think that's true. I think when I was watching the shows with my brother, who does not watch wrestling at all, like he would flip it on and I would be like, dude, this guy's Damien Sandow, check this out. And my brother's the kind of guy who would watch it and be like, what the fuck is this? This is hilarious. Like, I love this. So I think people who are not even hardcore wrestling fans would see a guy like Sandow and they fucking like him. So I think he was over. I don't think it just was with a couple internet marks.
Stop being such a smart, Carlton.
Party Hard 706 says, would it be so badass Rhino versus Bryan for his tittle? What the fuck? Where is that booking coming from? Rhino? Has he been on NXT regularly, or was it just that one time?
2 or 3 matches. He lost to someone in San Jose.
Yeah.
I forget who it was. But he's had 3 matches, I think. I'm not look, Rhino's fine.
Yeah.
He's better than Sheamus, but I don't think Rhino's the guy you want going after Bryan when you have that amount of talent.
No, I don't. Bryan versus Rhino for the Intercontinental title is not something I would book.
No.
I would watch the shit out of it, but
maybe if it's 2000 Rhino versus Daniel Bryan now.
That's not really how that works, though.
Injury.
Carlton Fan 2010 says, if I was a Smark, I would have liked Sandow. I don't know. I don't know.
Ian, your brother's not a smart, right?
No, he doesn't even know what that word means.
Exactly.
I called him as a joke one time. I called him a mark, and he's like, "Quit being an asshole, using those stupid words." But I don't know. I think a lot of people like Sandow, and I think a lot of the casual fans like Sandow. I don't think it was just Smarks. And maybe you should
like his. If you're gonna let him be goofy, then he's gonna be enjoyable, but he's not gonna do anything. If you want to try and legitimately book him as a as a IC US title guy, that's gonna be difficult.
Yeah. Moving on though from this match, I did like that match. We went into so many like, okay, everyone here is dead, so we need to get them out. So many promos. I think we had 2 entire commercial breaks go through of just recaps and repairing the dead bodies. And what I wrote down for this segment was just
yeah, it's too much. We get the point. We don't need to see it all the time. Byron Saxton is still standing there.
Yeah.
I think they bring Lawler out after Saxton chokes at commentary. He brought the mood level down. He was so bad.
Well, you know what?
I understand this. The mood's supposed to be a little, down because of what just happened, but he was depressingly bad.
Yeah.
Like his voice is low. There's no excitement for anything. Fucking Lawler comes out, even though he's been blacklisted from Raw. Like it was bad.
He wasn't blacklisted from Raw. He was. Just...
I know. But commentary started hurting the show, I think, after the Lesnar segment. That's just me. It's just one of those little things that kind of nags on me.
Here's 2 things I want to bring up. Number 1, I want to plug my buddy Captain McKay. Captain McKay Random, who is in the chat right now, just put up a new animation he did called Mega Man, which is obviously starring Mega Man. Dude, it's so fucking good. Go to his Twitter at Captain McKay or go to his YouTube channel, Captain McKay Random, and check it out. Like, you're not going to be disappointed. It's so goddamn good because he's so goddamn good.
I haven't looked at any of the animation stuff yet. I might need to do that. McKay, have you done anything with like Jurassic Park or? He's
done a Godzilla series and he's working on an X-Men series right now.
I'll check it out. You said at Captain McKay. Is that again Twitter at Captain McKay?
That's the one. The other thing I want to talk about is last night Max Landis, the guy who did Wrestling Isn't Wrestling, he put up a tweet. Did you see that?
No, it didn't. Was it about Triple H and Sting?
No, he put up a tweet that was, let me pull it up here because Steve Schneider, a.k.a. Folkland, texted it to me last night before I saw it. What?
Fockelson.
Fockelson. Why does everyone fuck up his name? It's so easy.
It's one of those things where you're reading it and don't really look at how it's spelled. And then you build up a pronunciation in your head and then you leave it like that. Then you realize how terribly off you are like 7 years later.
I can't find where the fuck it is right now, but Max Landis basically tweeted something that said, man, I wonder why I was in Stamford a year ago and then I was backstage Monday on Raw. And then WrestleMania was fucking amazing. And tonight's Raw was fucking amazing. And just as a goof, I tweeted Max Landis earlier something to the degree of this is one of the greatest Raws I've ever seen. I'm having a fucking blast with it. Did they hire Max Landis or something? And he tweeted me back just an ellipses. Like he's not going to say anything. And interestingly, now he just tweeted, this year, in so many ways, I put my money where my mouth is. It's going to be a wild one. Let's hope I don't fuck everything up. I will. So...
Is he writing for Raw now?
I don't know. I don't know. I tweeted at him again and said, what does this mean?
As long as he didn't book and write the main event, I'm fine.
Well, interestingly enough, the main event is the only thing that got shit on tonight.
Yeah, because it was terrible.
It was fucking terrible.
It was the Sheamus of Raw tonight.
Raw's main event was the Sheamus of Raw. Evan Pagano, whose name I don't recognize, I'm glad you're here with us tonight. Byron sucked the life out of the TV broadcast. Renee Young deserved that shot. She's always composed.
Fuck agree.
Yeah, she is.
Great. Renee has the cutest little lisp, but she's good. She's composed. Like when she talks, she doesn't feel like she's out of place or anything.
No, Renee is so good.
See her out there.
He also says, if they would have booked the show in logical order, the Lesnar segment would have gone on at the end, and we wouldn't have been subjected to that awful commentary. Yeah, but where else would they have put that 6-man tag?
I think the whole point of that was to show the destruction or like the the rift that Lesnar freaking out could cause for the entirety of the show, like in the production, as opposed to having it be like a 7-minute thing.
Mm-hmm. There's that, and then there's also the thing of, obviously they had to. It would have taken them until next week to basically position Orton versus Rollins as the top story again. And if they had Lesnar do that shit with Rollins at the end of the night, there would have been no time for that. So
no, I agree. I mean, they placed it pretty well tonight. I have no problems with the placement of the segment. It's just the commentary was so fucking bad. They should have had something as backup. But I don't think this is a main event segment. I think they climaxed. I don't think there was a big climax this show. I mean, I guess it was Ray or Lesnar freaking out, but I think everything was hitting things at a pretty high note.
It was. Evan Pagano says the 6-man tag simply shouldn't have happened. I couldn't agree with you more. We'll talk about that match when we get to it. But moving on from the recaps and whatnot, now we go to Curtis Axel versus Adrian Neville in his WWE Big Show debut.
I like Neville. He's not going to be a talker. He's going to be a guy who just goes out and wrestles. Mm-hmm. I know it's a foreign concept, but he looked good. I mean, I love Axelmania. The often what is it? Often imitated, never eliminated. Best goddamn line ever. But he's doing his thing. I like Neville. It's going to take some time for him to develop, which is expected, but I like him. He's a good talent. If they use him right, he'll be good.
I don't know how much time it's going to take Neville to develop, because I think he's fucking already really good. I don't think he is,
but like the only thing is, like, what is he going to do?
He's going to go out there and continually have good matches every fucking week as long as they allow him to do that. Yeah,
I mean, I can see it. Like, I don't know where they want him to be. I don't know. Maybe I'm being pessimistic with it, but I know I like him. We're on the same page there. He's a good talent. He can definitely go. We'll see. The purple was. I'm used to his yellow trunks. And then his yellow and white trunks. The purple kind of threw me off, but
I like the purple, and I like that he came out with a hooded cape, because no one fucking else has a hooded cape right now. So that was awesome.
I was worried the cape was going to get like tangled in the ropes when he was trying to do that moonsault, or he was going to slip on it.
Evan Pagano says, anyone else notice that Neville didn't jump as high as normal on his finisher? Seemed to not want to botch it. Gain some confidence and he'll hit the rafters. It was either that, it was also Curtis was really close. And I feel like normally guys are a couple feet farther away. So he might have been up there and he may have misjudged the length of it or whatever. But yeah, I did notice he was a little lower than normal. I think this was a fantastic way to bring Adrian Neville out. Let him hit his big move. Let him do the big moonsault. Check out his new gear. He's got cool, flashy music. I don't know what the fuck happened to his first name. Someone tweeted earlier tonight, the man Gravity forgot, ... like the WWE forgot his first name or whatever.
I don't know. I don't understand what their obsession is with like losing first names. Like when Finn Balor comes up, he's going to be called Balor.
Well, it's not always first names. Like Big E Langston is just Big E now. Kofi Kingston is just kind of Kofi.
Yeah, Cesaro. It was Antonio Cesaro. Now it's just Cesaro.
Well, it was Claudio Castagnoli, but
we're talking WWE here.
Yeah,
and we're not indies don't exist.
Evan Pagano says, I'm CF9 from WFigs, if that helps. Okay, I'm glad you're here for it. I'm glad you're watching Raw Talks tonight. I got love for all the Dan-Dans. John Cena comes out. John Cena comes out, and the crowd fucking hates him.
He looked surprised by it tonight.
I think he was probably just surprised with how, like, the amount of hate and just vitriol in the entire fucking arena.
He just defeats the great Russian hero, and then he's still getting booed.
Yeah.
He's not going to get cheered until he goes, like, thug heel again, which he'll never do.
No, he's never going to do it, and at this point, it shouldn't happen. I'm totally over it. And if I was in that arena tonight, I would not have been one of the people booing Cena. I fucking love Cena with the U.S. title, and I love Cena with the U.S. title because of shit like this. This U.S. title that has meant dog's dick for fucking a long time at this point is now on a guy who has been the main event for the past 10 fucking years, and he's talking about, I want to be a fighting champion. I want to represent this belt. And he puts on a great fucking match with Dean Ambrose, who's one of the best upper mid-carders they have.
With Jeans Ambrose. And you know you're gonna get it over the next couple days and next week or so, saying that Gene's got buried because he lost. Losing a title match to John Cena in about 20 minutes, not getting buried.
Yeah.
That's a little bit of a push.
Nobody got buried on this show.
Nobody got buried. He looked great. I love the match itself, the counters. I like getting out of the finishers. I thought he was gonna get pinned in the first attitude adjustment. He had the kick out there.
Yeah.
I like Gene's a lot. He's one of my favorite guys. I think he could open up his moveset a little bit. I know he's a brawler. I know he's like a coked up brawler, but I think he can open up a little bit more. Because I think he has the ability to do it. It's not because I get bored. It's because I know he has the ability to do more than what he's doing.
Yeah.
So open it up a little bit.
I love that people were shitting all over John Cena and they were chanting for Dean. And then like halfway through they get a "This is awesome" chant. And then after this match there was a very faint "You can't wrestle" chant. Make up your fucking mind. Can Cena wrestle or is this awesome? I think it was fucking awesome.
I don't know if, I think we're on the same page here, but I think Cena is he's a fine wrestler. He's not bad.
No,
he's
not
good. He doesn't deserve "You can't wrestle" chance because he can go. He pulls out some of these individual moves that make me scratch my head, which is great in a good way.
Yeah.
But he can, you give him time and you give him a good opponent. He's not going to make a guy like Big Show better. He's not going to make a guy like Kane better.
No.
But put him with Ambrose, put him with Punk, put him with Bryan. He'll give you a really damn good match.
Yeah.
And he can go. I'm respecting Cena a lot. I very much like him as U.S. champ. The only reason I don't love him is because he didn't bring back the spinner. And there's still time on that.
They're not going to do it.
It's going to put me over it.
They're not going to do it.
They should. They won't, but they should.
Carlton Fan 2010 says John Cena was so much cleaner than Dean Ambrose. Now, I don't know if he's talking about how they bathe.
He's talking move-wise, like execution-wise.
Yeah.
I can agree with that.
Well, and you know what? Ambrose went for like a sunset flip powerbomb at one point, and it didn't go as planned. Ambrose fell down on his ass when he shouldn't have, and he got back up and he picked Cena up real quick. And I was happy that they didn't get hit with a "You fucked up" chant, or they didn't get boos or anything, because it was a great match. That was one little slip that they had, and I think you can totally forgive that.
I agree. It's like he got back out of it really well.
Yeah.
And then the thing is, like, to his statement saying Cena is so much cleaner than Ambrose, I think that's his style. Ambrose is not a clean wrestler. He's a brawler. He's gonna look all over the place, which is part of his charm.
Carlton Fan 2010.
I'm not surprised Cena looks crisper than him. That's just the difference in styles.
Yeah. Carlton Fan 2000 says put him with Adam Rose. What? I think you said Ambrose. Did you not?
No, I said Ambrose. Put him with Ambrose. Put him with Bryan. Guys like that. Not Adam Rose.
Yeah, fuck Adam Rose.
Fuck Adam. Nobody likes Adam Rose.
I love the sportsmanship at the end of this match, and I love that they didn't take their time and do like a handshake and a hug. It was just kind of like a high five, but still fuck you. And then Ambrose pointed at the belt. I love that he was like, I'm still coming for that. Like, you beat me tonight. Like, you're better than me. Big whoop. I'm gonna get that belt.
It was like an almost begrudging kind of acknowledgement.
Yeah.
But I think they gotta give Ambrose a big win soon. I hope, and as a fan, that he gets one, and I think he needs one. Unless they're going down the path of him starting to get frustrated about not being able to buy a win and then just going off, which I could see him doing.
I don't necessarily think he needs a big win anytime soon. I think Ambrose is the kind of guy who can float around. I don't think he's a guy who needs like a win streak or anything like that. I think Ambrose can go out and he can lose a bunch, but then he'll get into the mindset where like that's my goal, laser sight, that's where I'm going. Like, he kind of did that with the Intercontinental title, and they might be doing a thing now where he's doing that with the U.S. title. So we could even get a storyline right now where he's just continually trying to get better. Like, they could do a thing, fantasy booking here. Ambrose could start this thing where he wants to wrestle every guy on the roster to get better by facing all these different styles. They won't fucking do that. They wouldn't think about it that much. But
I think the thing is, like, what he said is he wants his picture up on the wall. So I don't think he cares how he does it. He just wants his picture up there.
Yeah.
That's going to be his thing, I think, going ahead. And that's why I think he'll get up there into the main event. Mm-hmm. He'll be wrestling for the world title in about a year, if not a little sooner. But he'll be fine.
Yeah.
He'll be good. Just let him go with Bryan. Let him go with Cena for a bit. and he'll get a big rub from going over those guys, or wrestling with those guys, I think.
From there, we go to Orton and Rollins backstage. Then Kane and show up. Basically, Seth Rollins is talking about, oh, it's so great to be the champ. And then Orton shows up and says, I never got my rematch. I want the rematch. To me, that pits the idea that this is the new top feud. Orton and Kane show up. Seth Rollins says, get some friends, 6-man tag match tonight.
So was it just me, or I think the whole world was able to guess who Orton's two partners were going to be?
Oh, yeah, big time. Roman Reigns was a shoo-in, and then, it took me 2 seconds. I was like, who else? Ryback? And that's exactly who it was.
Yeah.
And it was stupid because they had Ryback come to him later that night and be like, I'll be your partner. If anything, Ryback was the one that people were kind of iffy on. They knew it was going to be Roman. They weren't certain it was going to be Ryback. So if anything, they should have had Roman come out and be like, oh, this is getting close to being even. And then when Ryback comes out, make Ryback a big deal. Ryback is the guy that you should be trying to push a little bit. Roman and Randy are already fucking top tier.
Yeah, Roman at this point doesn't need to be pushed because it's just going to cause more backlash, I think. Just let him go. Just let him do his thing. Ryback needs a little bit of a rub.
Yeah.
I was hoping deep down, I knew it wasn't going to happen, but I was hoping this is going to be when they brought up Finn Balor, but that's kind of a pipe game.
I saw people tweeting about that tonight. I saw this dude Cam tweeting about that tonight, he's a cool guy. He was tweeting about fucking Finn Balor all night, and I'm like, are you basing this on anything, or is this just what you want? And he basically said, this is just what I want.
What he wanted, or what we wanted, and the fact that they just had 2 NXT calls as well. So it's like, oh shit, maybe this is the night everyone's coming up.
No, I think they should temper how they're calling these guys up, split them apart a bit. We just got Neville called up. We got the Lucha Dragons called up. Let's give them a little bit of time. Let's focus on them a little bit.
Yeah, no, I agree with it. I just kind of, because you knew, it was like almost like you knew Roman Reigns was going to be the last partner. Mm-hmm. It was like, anyone but fucking Reigns.
Yeah.
What do we have after that promo? I kind of lost. I was paying attention to my laptop.
To go to the chat real quick, Carlton Fan 2010 says, who's been really active tonight. I like that. I really hope Ambrose doesn't turn heel because as a face, he's so much better. I think Ambrose could be great as a heel. I think Ambrose will be fine. Whatever he does, he'll be good at it because he seems like the kind of guy who's going to invest 100% of himself in his character. The only reason I would say don't turn him heel yet is because I feel like there's more they can do with him as a face first.
Yeah. Definitely.
Evan Pagano says, I think they could have done a bit better with their treatment of Seth. He took the title from Lesnar. That's a big deal. Not saying they should have had an Evolution-style celebration, but a bit more. I like the way they did it. Like, they had you think for a minute that Seth was going to come out and face Brock Lesnar. And, like, even though he turned tail and that's not what he did, he's an asshole. That's what he's supposed to do, is not do the thing what the fans want. But he gets in the ring with Brock. Brock tries to suplex him. Seth does a flip out, lands on his feet, and lands an enziguri. No one has done that. No one has been able. He reminds
me of a little more athletic Chris Jericho, which is great.
Yeah.
Jericho is one of my favorite wrestlers of all time.
Yeah.
He reminds me of a really good chicken shit heel, which is great. And he can go. It's not like he's going to cheat all the time, but he's going to avoid getting his ass whooped, obviously.
I love the dynamic of Brock Lesnar and Seth Rollins. The backflip out of the German suplex, landing on his feet, hitting the enziguri. Brock takes a knee, instantly gets back up. And the announcer sold it perfectly, like, oh, shit. Like, it seemed for a second like Seth had an answer there, but you got to do a little bit more against Brock Lesnar.
I like Lesnar no-selling, like his little bouts and no-selling. I think it's great for a character.
Yeah. Captain McKay says, Ambrose would be a fine face or heel. I almost feel like the crowd would cheer regardless. Almost like Austin when he was causing chaos. They were doing that a little bit when Ambrose was going up against Rollins. He was bringing the hot dog cart out, and he was covering everyone in fucking ketchup and mustard and everything. He was doing weird shit. They've kind of tempered that a little bit. We're not seeing that as much, but he has that Austin, like, I can do whatever I want thing about him, which I agree with.
Yeah, no, he's got a little bit of that vibe to him, and that's going to be over regardless.
Yeah. Shayla Galenza says, you should make Captain McKay Random do reviews with you as well. That'd be fucking awesome. I've done several reviews with Captain McKay. Captain McKay is the motherfucker. Watch his Mega Man animation that just went up. He and I will be doing stuff together, you know what I'm saying? Let's, instead of going to the chat again, let's talk about this Divas tag match.
Good. I had no problems with it.
I loved it. I thought it was a really, really good match.
It's for the Divas have been on a roll with matches over the past 3 or 4 weeks.
Yeah.
Mania did a solid match tonight, another good one. It was nice seeing Cameron get the pin too. Was it Cameron?
Yeah.
Is that her name?
Yeah. No, this was Naomi.
Naomi.
I always confuse the Funkadactyls too because for so long they were just the Funkadactyls and we had no idea which one was which. So they never cemented it into my head which one was which, so I still don't fucking remember. But I think this was like one of the first times I've ever heard a "Let's Go AJ" chant, and I want that. Fuck the CM Punk chant. "Let's Go AJ" should be what they're chanting every time AJ's
so
out there.
disrespectful. Like know, I was a Punk fan when he was here. He's gone. He's over. He took his ball and he left. Get over it. It's a disrespectful chant. Chant it at Sheamus. Don't chant it at the girls when they're working their asses off.
Chant it at Sheamus. What I love little intricacies and I love tiny things in a wrestling match. Like small details in a story, they make it better. One of my favorite things in this match was just the urgency that Paige and Naomi were showing on the apron as AJ was getting her ass kicked. Like AJ keeps crawling over to try to make the tag, and Paige and Naomi are going apeshit, going like, "Come on, AJ, make the tag! Like, bring one of us in." Instead of just being like, I'm over here if you want to fucking tag me. Like, they were really selling, like, we want to get in here. We want to help our friend, which just, it sold this match big time, in my opinion. I'm kind of excited to see where they're going, with the Divas title itself, because they've got 6 girls over there who can go. Yeah.
Natalia looks fucking great in the ring.
Yeah.
She's awesome. Like, they've got 6 talented girls. They had 6 talented boys tonight wrestling.
Jazz James says the fans chanted CM Punk, but it was quickly shot down by AJ chants.
Good.
That's even better. To me, to have it start and then get it shut down by an AJ chant is even better than the Punk chant not happening at all. I love that.
That's great.
Evan Pagano says, good match. Oh, shit, I fucked up here. Good match. The girls can go. Paige is hot. One thing. Where's the character development or story with these girls? Would be nice in addition to their longer matches.
Well, that's total Divas on E. That's what character development is.
Unfortunately, I think you're right. But
let the girls wrestle. Who cares?
Carlton Fan 2010 says that awkward moment when you like Sheamus.
Nobody likes Sheamus. Stop pulling our leg.
Carlton 2010, you said that only smarks like Damian Sandow. Well, I think
Sheamus.
Only boys like Sheamus. He's not gonna understand that reference, but that's fine. From here, I like the Divas match big time. I thought it was great. From here, we went to Rusev versus Goldust.
Getting back into it, I would I felt bad because I would either like take a piss or stop paying attention when the Divas come on after their entrance to see how they're looking.
Yeah,
but I've been watching. I've been paying attention in the matches.
Yeah,
it's good.
They have been really good, and that's a great thing.
Yeah, I agree. Definitely agree. Just wait till Charlotte comes up, till Sasha comes up.
Dude, I have this angle that I won't go totally into right now. I've mentioned it before, where I have this thing in mind. If I got the book, where I know there's so many people would hate this, but I would love it. I would bring
Charlotte gimmick or Charlotte angle.
Yes, I would love to have Charlotte come up. She wins the Divas title. She's dominant, and eventually she gives the Divas title, like she gives it up because she wants to do something else. We don't know what the other thing is. Charlotte starts wrestling, and people at first would be like, "What the fuck is this?" But Charlotte starts wrestling dudes, and it turns out she's so fucking good. It doesn't turn out that just because she's a woman, she can't compete. I would do this thing, and it would work perfectly against like Seth Rollins, who was a cocky heel who could sell the shit out of it. I would have Charlotte be the first woman to ever win the World Heavyweight title. And I think that would do great things for just changing the pace of how things go. It would be something that's never happened before. I think Charlotte's really good. It's an easy story to write because you've got that legacy with Ric Flair behind her. Like, even if she turned heel, she could always be like, this was obviously going to happen. My dad's the greatest of all time. You don't think that I'm just as good, if not better than he is? Like, If I had time to explain the whole fucking thing, I guarantee I could sell people on it. But
that's a story for another podcast.
It is. It definitely is. But I think about that all the fucking time. I would love to see something like that happen. Something that nobody would fucking expect. You know.
And to go back to what we were talking about earlier with the tag division, I see shades of it here too with the divas or the women. They're nudges and little steps in the right direction. Just letting them wrestle. That's how you're going to build it up. They're not going to be big storyline things because people are not going to care. Just let them wrestle, build respect up like that, and the fans will get more and more into the matches.
Yeah. Then
you can start developing the characters as individuals a little better. But I like what they're doing now. They're doing a solid job.
I agree. So from there, we went to Rusev versus Goldust.
Goldust got buried.
It's not a fucking burial. Goldust is nothing.
I know.
This whole match, it was just domination. There's nothing to even say about it. This was just here to get Rusev out there, to put him back on the winning path, and for you to not forget about Rusev. That's what this was for.
There's not much I need to add to that. I really don't have an opinion on it. Rusev won. He needed to win.
Yeah.
It was fine.
Evan Pagano says a guy hasn't put his hands on a girl in years for the WWE, though. Then again, they said bitch about 4 times in the first 20 minutes. Number one, it wouldn't be a man putting his hands on a woman. It would be a woman saying, I'm good enough. I'm on your level. I'm better than you. I'm going to take you on. I'm challenging you. And I would have her fucking win. She's going to be at the top. So it's not going to be like, oh, this poor woman. She's going to be strong. She's going to be independent. And she's going to be the fucking world champion. You got to deal with it.
I could even picture the finish of the match with like Rollins undoing the turnbuckle or something, and then hitting his head on it, and then Charlotte hitting the natural selection.
I'd have her go over clean.
You think so? That is clean, kinda. It's just Rollins looking like an idiot.
I wouldn't even need him to look like an idiot. It could.
Do you have Rollins tap out to the figure 4?
You have Rollins tap out in the rematch, because Rollins says this was a fluke.
Rollins lose twice to Charlotte.
Oh, big time. Because you have Rollins go out there and be like, look at me. Look at my accomplishments. I single-handedly beat Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns to win the world title and all this bullshit. You really think if I was on the top of my game that this woman could have beat me? No one can beat me. So then in the second match, when she makes him tap, like he has no excuse at all, and she looks even better.
And then you have Brock Lesnar beat her 2 months later with Paul Heyman every Monday. Just absolutely destroying Tumblr and pissing off feminists across the world, and then Lesnar pinning her in 20 seconds.
Brock Lesnar or Ric Flair comes out and he was just like, Brock, you can't do this. He F5's Ric Flair, but like
could you imagine?
He's got him up and he throws him so hard. He's got Flair and like he throws him so hard for the F5 that Flair just spins and just goes up into the sky and we never see him again.
I'd be disappointed because I think the potential for Flair and Heyman going at it on the mic for like a month during the build-up would be fantastic.
Too bad Brock Lesnar sent him to the moon.
He's starting up WrestleMania 38.
Well, it turns out that Ric Flair, he like partied so much that he cannot fucking die, and he alone starts his own colony on the moon.
Him and Keith Richards.
Yeah, for some reason Keith Richards is just there.
He's just strumming a guitar in a crater. So
from Rusev Goldust, we went right to the main event, if I'm not mistaken.
So the main event sucked. Let's get it out of the way. It was terrible.
I don't know if it was terrible. It wasn't. I would just say it was bad because we've seen this so many fucking times. Like, of the talent that we had on this show, we brought up the Lucha Dragons. Not that don't get me wrong, they shouldn't be main eventing or anything. But we've got the Lucha Dragons. We just brought Neville up. Cena versus Ambrose. Bryan versus Ziggler. Why the fuck are Kane and Big Show in the main event again?
I don't know whether they're not done yet. Like, look, I respect the fuck out of Big Show and Kane for what they've done. Like, I love Kane. But they shouldn't be main eventing in 2015.
Yeah.
With the talent that they have.
They should never be main eventing. And with like Raw after Mania, 98% smart crowd. The please retire chants were a little much. That's a really shitty thing to chant. But I don't need or want these guys in the fucking main event, and I'm tired of it. So the crowd shit all over it. I think there was NXT chants. There was all sorts of weird chants. Please retire. Same old shit. But
The chance then that was great.
I don't really think the chants were great though, because it bothers me when the crowd thinks that they're the show. You know what I mean?
It's bad because that means the match isn't doing that well either. I'd rather watch good wrestling and have the crowd be silent other than the pops.
Yeah, I
If
agree.
they were chanting, how you doing? Very good portion of it. And then the wave, like when the camera pulled back for the wave, that's when I lost it. Like they should never do that. You should never take the focus off of the match, to an ADD filled crowd. Like that's just admitting that the product in the ring right now is so bad that you need to focus on the jackasses in the crowd.
See, that's the double-edged sword, though. Is there's people online who'd be like, oh, people were booing Roman Reigns, so they muted the crowd. First of all, that's not possible. Second of all, like if they ignore the crowd doing this shit, then the people are going to be like, oh, now they won't listen to it. Like they won't listen to the crowd. But then they show the crowd, and people are saying they should never show the fucking crowd. Never listen to the crowd.
You're never gonna please anyone. Fucking IWC is the biggest bunch of fucking jackasses.
I agree. Carlton Fan 2010 says he loved Big Show's trolling so much. I definitely did too. Jazz James says Ric Flair, the man gravity forgot. Captain McKay says Flair's return from being buried in the desert. He'll return from the moon too. Captain McKay says also, after Undertaker finally hangs it up, I'd be interested in seeing a couple years of Dominant Monster Masked Kane as the once-a-year WrestleMania match. I don't know. That doesn't have the attraction that Taker does, though. Like, I think that would be cool, but...
Speaking of Kane, like, I know they're probably going to do Sting Taker next year, but if Taker's going to retire soon, and it's not going to be Sting, the last person he wrestled should probably be Kane.
Yeah. Well, they've already done that. They've done that so many times, plus 2 times at WrestleMania.
Yeah. It's just, I'm thinking, like, from a career overall perspective, like, those are the 2 matches Taker could have as the last match where I'd be satisfied with it.
Yeah. For anyone,
where's Bray Wyatt? Are they just going to keep him off TV for a bit? I guess they're letting him heal. I don't know how his ankle is doing. I haven't heard anything on that.
Yeah, word is he fucked up his ankle practicing for the match last night. So
he looked fine last night.
He did, but he might just be a really tough dude who completely no-sold it. What I want to know is Sting had an interview on the network right after Raw that obviously I didn't get to watch because I started doing this. I would like to know what the hell he said because it was regarding his future. But Captain McKay says the Kane thing wouldn't even be a streak thing. It would just be a huge obstacle and payoff. Evan Pagana says, agreed. There was a period of time where the Shield would take on, well, other young people, and it was refreshing. I'm not sure what he's talking about there. Shayla
I think they were facing the Wyatts in the 6-man tag match.
Yeah. Shayla Galenza says the cameraman did the wave, which I think was fucking funny. But, yeah, I don't have a whole lot to say about this main event other than I didn't really like it. And
the problem was, like, the boos were Reigns weren't as big as they were last night. They were the crowd was almost dead for him, which is bad.
I don't think so. I was hearing loud boos for Roman Reigns.
You think they were loud?
Yeah, they were pretty loud, at least coming out of my TV.
I thought, maybe when his music first hit, but I thought, I don't know.
I feel like when he got tagged in, they shit on him. When he did anything, they shit on him. He got the pin, and they shit on him. Who did he pin? Did he pin Kane?
Yeah, he pinned Kane.
Okay, at least he didn't pin Rollins. The main problem I have with this match is I hate that Seth was in this match that was getting torn apart. Seth is... I fucking love him. I love that he has the world title. I was so happy last night when he won it, and I don't want him being involved in this bullshit right now.
They need another person in the Authority who can kind of take on Rollins' role, if that makes sense.
Jazz James says Bray Wyatt is a tough boy. Carlton Fan 2010 says Sting came out and thanked the crowd. Out comes Bo Dallas. Scorpion Death Drop pandering. That's all, folks. That's a little silly. Careful. Yeah, I don't know why they did that, but it gave Sting another moment to go out there and have fun. Another crowd that was able to see Sting, which is always cool. Carlton Fan 2010 says, off topic, but AJ appears to have the knees of someone that spent life on their knees. I don't know what he means by that.
He means that she sucked a lot of penis.
No, I don't know what he means about.
Yeah, I've been paying attention to her knees.
Yeah, I haven't been looking at him. Steve Schneider, a.k.a. Folkland, just texted me. He's sorry he wasn't able to make the show tonight. But he had some shit come up. Don't be sorry you didn't make the show tonight because you're going to be on again. No big deal. You take care of your shit. You know what I'm saying? All the Dan-Dans love it. You know what I'm saying?
I got you. See.
Yeah. Sam Fricky came in. We had a good show. Let's wrap this shit up. I think we did a really good one here.
I agree. Raw was a good Raw, other than the last 20 minutes or so.
Yeah. I definitely agree. The momentum shifted a little bit when we went to all those recaps and whatnot. But tell the Dan Ans where they can follow you on Twitter before we go.
Dan Ans can follow me at Fricky316.
When are you going to change that to Fricky616?
When I feel like it, and I figure out how to change. Dude, the problem is, I'm logged on my laptop's Twitter under my new podcast's Twitter, which is still under development.
Yeah.
So I forget my username and password to my personal one, so I'm stuck on that on my phone.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
We'll figure that shit out.
I'll figure it out. I mean, Steve's the community manager. I can be the business development manager, whatever you want to call me.
The business development manager?
Something with manager in it.
What does that even mean?
It's not about the responsibility, it's about the title.
What does that even mean? What would you be doing?
I don't know. We'll figure it out. Hopefully not much.
Dan Dans, I do another podcast, the 616 Entertainment Podcast, where we talk about whatever the fuck we want. That goes up every Wednesday. We do Let's Plays on Friday. This show is every Monday. Watch the WrestleMania one we did last night because it was really good with the artist formerly known as Mike Charles. Thanks for co-hosting a show with me, Sam Fricky, on short notice.
Not a problem. Just remember, don't be Sheamus.
Don't be Sheamus. Here's the official outro. I love you, Dan.
Have a good night.
We'll see you next week.
Hey, Mike, make sure everyone has brown gloves. Does everyone have brown gloves?